Hey, we're on, Max.
We're on.
And everybody, look, Max shaved. I think that's got to be the first thing I say tonight is that Max shaved. And we're going to point it out. There it is. Look at him. He looks like a baby. Looks like a little baby.
Really?
I don't know.
A little baby?
Yeah, like from Austin
like 10
Powers.
days. Oh, I haven't seen Austin Powers. Just kidding.
What?
I've seen a couple. I've seen The Spy Who Shagged Me. I got it.
We were going to have a referendum if you hadn't seen Austin Powers.
Well, you haven't oven baked a pizza pop, so really, where are we at here?
That's fair.
Anyways, I wanted a little spring weight loss program, so I took it off my face. So that's where we're at.
There we go.
The rest, we're still working on it.
We've got some people checking in. We are the SquadCast. We are live. We're here in the IKS studio bunker, the basement of the Rod Peterson Show, of course. And we're coming at you live for another episode of the SquadCast right now. Thank you for checking in. Make sure you guys comment in. We got our comment wall over here tonight, and we got a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about, and we have some great guests coming up, and Max will tell you about that in just a second. But of course, I am producer Clark. Mad Max is over here to my right. We are checking in with, look at our brand new set. We got a nice little new looking set here. We got the Ducks jersey, Paul Kariya, checking out. Checking in, I should say, Paul Kariya.
All class here at the SquadCast.
Everything's going pretty well. We got John O'Flynn checking in from North Vancouver.
John O'Flynn checking in.
Always good checking in. We got 30 episodes under our belt as of tonight, Max. This is episode number 30.
Not too bad.
Who'd have thunk?
Did we get a McDouble or something for that after?
Can we?
I don't know. Can we?
Hey,
I'm asking
McDonald's, you sponsoring anybody lately?
Oh, yeah. No free ads.
No. Yeah. Katie Fleury, just a relaxing night for me. Been down and out a couple days. Katie, hope you're doing okay.
Absolutely.
We know you've been dealing with some stuff, so shout out to Katie Fleury.
Mm-hmm.
But you are the squad. You are the fanalists. Again, make sure you guys check in on our comment wall all night long. We'll be checking in. You want ask us anything? We could do that right now. I don't know if Alan is ready to go back in the back. There it is.
Look at that. He's on it tonight.
Ask us anything throughout the night.
Stuff.
Send in your comments. Send in your chirps. If you want to chirp us, you can.
Mostly Clark, though.
I'm wearing a Falcons jersey or sweater tonight. You can easily chirp that. We got 4th overall pick in the NFL draft coming up.
For now.
We'll see. Now, we'll see if they trade it. Who knows? But we are, as always, presented by our good friends at Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. Give our good friends Roxanne and Darnell a call. I'm meeting them tomorrow. They got some stuff for us, Max.
We got some stuff for them.
Including, we got a little trade-off, including, I believe, a new flamingo for the set.
Oh.
We're getting it.
Boy.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped about the new
Ask and you shall receive from Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. People, check them out. They'll
get you what you want, guys. If you need anything to figure out, or if you need to get anything for your business or figure out how to make your business run more smoothly, Rockstar is your people. They are your people.
They are
Rockstar.com. There's Roxanne and Darnell right here. They're just checking out. They're hanging out on the set tonight.
Good pointing.
I'm getting better at it, I think. I think this set is easier to point in than our old set. But Gavin's checking in. He's our good buddy from TikTok, Gavin.
Wonderful.
Hey, Clark and Max, when do the Leafs clinch? Hopefully tomorrow. I don't know if they can tomorrow or not. I think it's close, though. I think it's pretty close. Alan is checking in. Oh, no, sorry. John's just calling out Alan. Alan Lee checking out producer Alan in the back.
He's on it.
So we got some people. Chad Isaac's got the triple screens going on tonight. He's watching Team Canada at the under-18s. He's watching the SquadCast on Facebook, and he's going to be watching the SquadCast on TikTok in a minute. I'm going to get it going maybe in a few minutes.
Look at you just multitasking away. Hey?
Why not?
Why
not? But Max, as always, let's let you break down the show and tell us what's going on tonight.
All righty, let's fire it up. All right, folks, the week is finally here. It's time to get in one last mock draft, and scouts get to show off the honed abilities of their craft. It's NFL draft week. What are the Falcons doing, Clark?
We'll talk about that later.
All right. Well, we've got
It's a little deep. It's a deep question.
We've got RP Show football director of scouting Craig Smith to join us and help break it all down with his prospect rankings and where some teams will benefit from doing some tanking.
Oh.
Shh.
Tanking.
The Jays are finding a groove. Vladdy with a couple of bombs tonight off Max Scherzer. Gotta love it. Held together by their pitching staff. Can the debut of George Springer, I guess I wrote this last night before it came out that he's not going to be making his debut tonight.
Yeah.
It'll be tomorrow night, Wednesday.
Quick adjustment.
Against these Washington Nationals that they are currently in a 7-3 lead over, which is fantastic. Where else are we at here now? Can George Springer ignite a flame toward an upward direction in the standings? The NHL playoff race is heating up. The fourth place finishers are grinding their way to the playoffs for a chance at the cup. It's all right here on episode 30. Clark, Is it true that your birds hold the title in the NFL for being the most dirty?
Yeah, well, no. See, that's the thing. You could have put the Leafs in there too, because the Jets are coming out saying the Leafs are the dirtiest team in the NHL right now.
It's NFL draft week, though. Nobody cares.
I guess I'm only a fan of dirty teams.
It's not always about the Leafs.
No, you're right. I got the hat on the desk.
I got to give you your weekly reminder.
Pretty happy about that hat,
Good
Max.
stuff.
By the way, thank you for that.
Nailed it.
But yeah, the Leafs. We'll get into this in a sec because we're going to talk Jets, Winnipeg Jets, in just a minute and later in the show. But they came out and said the Leafs are a super dirty team just because they were standing up for themselves the other night. And I think that was kind of ridiculous. But then, of course, it has to happen. Joe Thornton goes out and cross-checks Nick Eelers a few times, gets in his kitchen a little bit, and just kind of emphasizes the fact that the Jets called them dirty. So, of course, that happened, and now it's just the narrative is just extended now. So, anyways, it's a fun time to be a Leafs fan. It's a fun time for hockey fans in general.
Watching all 9 minutes of Joe Thornton's game that other night, though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that as a chirp. That's his role now, right?
That's his role.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But he was just in Nick Eelers' face. Nick Eelers doesn't even want to come back for the rest of the regular season after what Joe Thornton did to him for 9 minutes.
Literally.
So
and we'll get into that in a sec. We got to get to the top of the order here, of course. And our first topic of the night, the top of the order, as always, is brought to you tonight by Hoop Life Basketball, actually. So we'll get into that in a sec, hooplifebasketball.com. But our first topic tonight, of course, is the NFL draft. I mean, we can't go too much longer without getting into it. It's the big topic of the week. It's the biggest thing going on this weekend. There's, of course, the 5 quarterbacks that everybody's talking about right now. And we're going to dive deeper into this with our first guest of the night, Craig Smith, who's coming up in a few minutes. But Max, the QBs are loaded at the top of the board. We could see 5 quarterbacks potentially in the top 10 this year, and we'll see how that all shakes down as we go. But Trevor Lawrence is pretty much locked in as one of the biggest prodigies in the last probably few decades that we've seen at the quarterback position. That everyone's been hyping him up for about 3 years now,
since his freshman year,
maybe even before that. And then you see guys like Trey Lance, you see Mac Jones over there, you see Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. It could be a 5 quarterback in the top 10 type of draft. And if you're a team needing a quarterback, we could see some trades. You mentioned it in our mock draft. Actually, you want to bring it up right now?
Don't matter, sure.
Let's bring up Max's mock draft, Alan, if you can. And you're going to go over, I guess, who you think you might see in the top 10. And later, when Craig Smith joins us, he's going to show us who he thinks is his top 10 picks. Not necessarily the order, but just his top 10 players.
100%.
So this is go over, I guess, who you think will go where.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to preface this. Obviously, we're still a couple of days before the draft, right? There's still some moving and shaking that can be happening throughout the league. When it comes to this quarterback class, though, Clark, you alluded to it. Say quarterback class, Clark, 5 times fast.
Quarterback class, yeah, you can't do it.
Either way,
can't be
tough anyways. We're not at the top of the class for that. Either way, it's a loaded QB class. And when you look at the names on this list that Clark just alluded to, like Clark said, we'll keep saying it, again, it's all dependent on team need, though. And again, I want to preface this. Some moving and shaking could go about. I see at least 2 teams as possible candidates for moving their picks just based on where they're sitting at and where their team needs are. I look at the Falcons, and they could possibly be looking at a move downward anyways to address a bit of a different area where they don't necessarily need a quarterback yet. I don't know, Clark, you let me know. Is Matty Ice done? I don't think so, but
that's kind of so I'm going to get into this with Craig because I really want Craig Smith's thoughts on this overall, but the Falcons are in a weird position because, Matt Ryan's been there for so long. He's won a lot of games. Say what you want about the guy. Say what you want about the Super Bowl a few years ago. But he still has won a ton of games
People
there.
still are. Just
I know.
So you know.
I hear it. But he has won a ton of games there. But they're in a position right now where they haven't been good for a few years. Matt Ryan probably still has some value in the league if you wanted to try and trade him. I don't think that's going to happen right now, but if you wanted to try and trade him. But there's also been a lot of talk about trading Julio Jones. Yeah. So if the Falcons are going to trade Julio Jones, it's almost like they need a new wave of guys. So do you go and get a quarterback at 4? With the guys that are available, and again, we'll talk to Craig Smith about this, but maybe there's a guy on the board when they pick at 4 who they still really like, whether it's a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance or whoever it happens to be. Maybe Zach Wilson falls there to 4 and sees how the draft all kind of shakes down.
I don't know if Zach Wilson's going to be at 4, but
you never know though.
We'll see.
This is a weird draft because there's some guys.
Is Zach Wilson the Bo Callahan of the draft?
But there's some guys. Good reference. There's some guys who, didn't play at all this season.
Yeah.
Trey Lang
picks a quarterback in the top 10 for the first time in his tenure as a head coach. So it could be very, very interesting what goes on with this NFL draft this Thursday. But yeah, heavy quarterbacks at the top of the class.
A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of receivers, and it's gonna be interesting.
Offensively dynamic.
Let's get into the topic number 2 of the day as I move some stuff around here. The NHL on TNT. Now this is exciting. Turner Sports has come in. And I thought when I heard this news was coming that they were like the underdogs to ESPN when ESPN got the rights, because the ESPN news came out first and they doubled NBC's amount per year. It was NBC was paying $200 million per year. ESPN comes out and pays $400 million per year. So I'm like, okay, they're the main people.
Yep.
Then Justin Tierner, TNT Sports comes in and says $650 million a year for 7 years. So they are the main guys in this fight, where with ESPN being the secondary guys, and that's over $1 billion a year for the U.S. television rights on top of Sportsnet's rights. So Max, my question that I put up on Twitter the other day, maybe it was this morning, I don't know, was I think the salary cap is going to go up faster than we originally thought with all the COVID stuff.
Do you think it's this next season? Or do you think it's the season after when everything kind of kicks into gear and we see what the revenues look like?
Here's the thing, and we'll get into this in segment 4 later in the show a little bit more. But Seattle's coming in, so that money's going to flow into the league.
$650 million fresh cash
for everybody to share.
Yeah.
The TV deals, both American deals, are coming in new, fresh. Over $1 billion compared to $200 million.
That was insane. Hey,
they got an $800 million raise.
I think the NHL can thank the NFL a little bit though for this. Again, it's that complimentary.
They kind of set the tempo.
Oh, absolutely, right. It's just like any contract negotiation. It's the NHL is not maybe the, I don't know what's the best way to say it. It's not the Mike Trout of the 4 major sports leagues, but it's really establishing its dominance and really establishing itself in the market down south, and that's why we see these numbers. And when you see the NFL going for, what was the number? It was something absolutely stupid. Like $100 billion? No.
Yeah,
what was
over
it?
like
$100 billion over 11 years for the package,
stupid.
right? So again, we can thank our buddies at the NFL for a nice little complimentary contract negotiation, and I think Gary Bettman did a great job here. Again, he's only done, I guess, I don't want to say only done good things. There's been some question marks, I guess, as well. But in terms of growing the game, he's done a lot of very, very good things for this sport and this league. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, good things are coming. We'll talk about it a little bit more later in the show. Maybe we'll get more into the nuts and bolts of it.
Absolutely.
Fernando Tatis and Trevor Bauer drama again. Tatis comes out of a, 5 home runs in 3 games stretch.
Yeah.
But one of them was off that picture right there, Trevor Bauer. And as he circled first base, as he rounded first base, I should say, he turns around to his dugout, gives him the cover as his eye, which was what Trevor Bauer did earlier in the preseason, spring training. And causes a ruckus, and the media goes wild. Oh, baseball shouldn't be that way, and that's not classy, and all these things come out. But Trevor Bauer then comes in and says, I love it. Do more of that. We want more of that in baseball. Baseball needs to be more interesting. This is what causes interest. This is what we need. So again, we've talked about Trevor Bauer at length on this show specifically. Max, I love Trevor Bauer's attitude towards the game of baseball. I've said that for a long time. I love that he's marketed himself as much as he has. He clearly got his contract this summer. He got the money that he got because of his own marketing and ability to spread.
Shout out Rachel Luba.
Shout out to his agent, Rachel Luba. But Max, a lot of people don't like it. So what do you think? Is it time for more of this in baseball, or do they need to shut it down?
I'm firmly in the camp that there are characters like Fernando Tatis Jr. that belong in this game, and not only belong in it, but deserve to be in consideration to be the next face of it. When you look at Trevor Bauer, I don't know, I haven't necessarily been, I guess, the most patriotic to some of the things that he's done. When it comes to, which again is kind of ironic, I'm in marketing for my career path anyways, but either way, like you said, Clark, he's done a masterful job. He's gotten a fantastic contract, and at the end of the day, when he comes out with the statement that's the exact opposite of what has been in baseball for the last 100 years, saying, no, you know what? A guy took me deep and he threw a little mockery in there, and hey, it got some page views. It got some dollars generated for some folks. It got some articles written. It's true. That is what baseball needs. And when you look at a guy like Mike Trout, again, we brought him up earlier, he is a fantastic ambassador for the game of baseball, but he's not that loud, boisterous figure. He fits into that traditional mold of guys that just fall in line, go to work, do your job, do it immaculately. But unfortunately, just it doesn't generate a lot of buzz, right? Fernando Tatis Jr., is the buzz. He had 5 home runs in a 4-game set against the Dodgers. And again, we'll talk about it later with Chris Unterreiner, but is that becoming the most fiercest rivalry in baseball? I think so.
Could be. Very exciting times in baseball, and I'm kind of on board with you, Max. I say do it more. I say they need more of that in baseball. I'm just going live on TikTok, so if you see my phone here in front of me, that's why.
Just to wrap that up, too, we've
yes.
got guys starting to come out like that. Ronald Acuna Jr. is not the most quiet guy. He's kind of a balance of the Mike Trout and the Fernando Tatis Jr. There's a number of guys, right? You look at Vladdy tonight pimping his shot because friggin' A, that ball still hasn't landed yet.
I saw Chad Isaac commented in a minute ago. Did he hit another one?
No, he only got 2.
Just the 2.
I think that was the one that caught him up on 7-3.
Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
But he's hit
is
2
a
tonight,
stud.
and they still haven't landed yet, I don't think. So
somebody on TikTok is saying we should do the Caulfield debate.
the Caulfield or the Caulfield?
Caulfield.
Oh, the Caulfield.
Yeah, I don't know why I had it in my head that it was Caulfield. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
He's played 1 game. What's there to debate?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Now, George Springer was supposed to make his debut tonight. That was put on hold by the Toronto Blue Jays. It is what it is. Alan actually came out to me earlier and said, so is he kind of a bust now? Like, is he becoming a bust? Now, here's the thing. How many games have they played?
20. So tonight it'll be 22.
22 games.
Out of 162.
He's got a 6-year deal, 162 games a year. No, not a bust. Yeah. Get him right. He's got a long ways to go with the Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah.
He needs some time. Give him the time. It'll be fine. Not worried about George Springer.
No.
When he comes back in the lineup, it's going to be a massive addition to the team, and we're all looking forward to it whenever it happens. 100%. I don't think I'm anywhere near the bust category for George Springer yet. Not yet.
Let's give him an A, B, or 2 first, hey?
Yeah,
Shall we?
Sure. See him steal a base or
It'd be nice to
make
see
a
him,
catch in
and
the
it
outfield.
sounds like we will tomorrow night.
Yeah. Hopefully it's coming. It's coming soon. And Teoscar Hernandez, I think, is also right behind him.
He's got to be close. I think the biggest thing with Teoscar is I think he's cleared COVID protocols. The biggest thing is performance now, because when you're in COVID protocol, as you know, you can't go to the facility and work out, can't do anything. He was hitting off of a tee at his house. That's what he could do.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Did he have it, or was he in protocol?
So he was... That's a great question. I think he did test positive.
I think he had it.
I'm pretty sure he tested positive.
I don't know if it was anywhere near like what you experienced or not. But
no idea.
He had it.
Either way, he did have it.
Either way. Last one of the top of the order specifically is Nikolai Eelers is out for the rest of the remainder of the regular season. Not for the whole season. Just the remainder of the regular season. Now, of course, what happened was he was going into the corner. Jake Muzzin was following him. Muzzin went to hit him. Eelers actually reverse hit Muzzin, and Muzzin fell down. Eelers' shoulder got popped out of place.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Everyone's saying that it was a dirty hit for Muzzin. Go away. Everyone was saying that the Sandine hit on Blake Wheeler was dirty. Come on. Blake Wheeler was the one who initiated contact.
I don't understand.
Get out of here
I don't
with
even
that.
understand where 1% of that came from. It makes...
I think it was mostly media driven.
But again, though, the media, they watch the game.
I know. I don't know how you do that.
It was that slow of a news night, I guess.
Now, the funny part for me was Kyle Connor thought it was dirty. He was right there in the corner with him. Grabbed Sandine, started yelling at him, and then just let him go. Like, what are you doing, Kyle Connor?
Kind of falls in line with the Jets, or maybe a little soft.
Well,
a little soft.
Now, here's the other thing is that, Nikolai Eelers is out for the rest of the season. What does that bode for the rest of the Jets? I know that Blake Wheeler's been dealing with some injuries. They've been struggling lately. Connor Hellebuck hasn't been great, as great as he's been all season. So are the Jets worried right now? And I know that there's a lot of Jets fans that tune in to the show I produced, the Rod Peterson Show. Rod put out a meme today that said, Jets fans, don't throw in the towel yet. Oh, there it goes.
There it is. We knew that would happen at least once.
I said it was going to happen. I said it. Now it's not going to work. Don't throw in the towel yet. There's still a long ways to go. The Jets are still in a great position. They're going to probably end up playing the Oilers. I don't think they'll change. I don't think they'll go any lower than that. So, come on, guys. Don't throw in the towel yet. There's still a long way to go. So that's the top of the order. Again, brought to you tonight by Hoop Life Basketball. Head to your app store today and download their easy-to-use basketball training program right in your hand. Their app, Hoop Life, just search it up. You can see the logo down below me here if you're watching on Facebook, facebook.com/SquadCast, by the way. And you can...
Subtle plug.
Yes, subtle plug, just for the TikTok viewers to come check us out over on Facebook. HoopLifeBasketball.com. use the promo code SQUAD10, SQUAD10, and you can get 10% off apparel, camps, all sorts of stuff over there. So make sure you head over there and use that promo code at hooplifebasketball.com. We do have a Vigor fan vote. I almost slipped up there. Vigor fan vote. Now, usually we put it up on Twitter. Totally forgot today, Max. Let's just own up to it.
It was a busy one. It was a busy one. We'll take accountability. But,
Max had lots going on. I was setting up down here. We had stuff happening. Didn't post the Twitter thing. However, here's the 4 options. Fourth place, NHL. Say that 10 times. Good one, Max. Fourth place NHL race is what the real topic was.
Fourth place. NHL race.
Okay, good. You got it. So we're going to talk about teams battling for fourth place. We'll do that in segment number 4 in the hockey segment for sure. So stay tuned
Zimmerman,
for that.
7-4.
Thank you everybody checking in on TikTok. G, how's it going, G? Madison Bumgarner's no-hitter. That's what we're talking about. The Rams draft house, super cool. If you guys haven't seen the video, Rebel Wilson's in it. She's great. They go to this massive mansion in LA, which is where basically the entire Rams management staff is hanging out. Is that what the deal is?
Everybody that's in on the draft team, scouts, everything.
They're all living there?
Well, I think so. There's probably 46
probably
bedrooms
40
in that
rooms
house.
in that house. It's a freaking hotel.
Oh, man.
But they have an amazing setup there. So we were going to maybe chat about that.
Where we're going to draft our next
Leafs.
second round stud. Look out, people.
Hey, and then Clark on the Leafs, which again, we'll get to in segment 4. Because Max is wondering if I'm worried about Foligno and Matthews colliding at practice. And we'll talk about that.
Who was worried about that?
But we are going to be talking about, apparently Connor Bedard is lighting it up at the U18s right now.
What does lighting it up mean? Like he's on the ice or did he score?
Colton, can you explain? Has he scored tonight in the U18? I think Chad Isaac is mentioning that maybe Shane Wright has scored.
Glad I picked him early in my keeper draft, that's for sure.
Yeah, so Shane Wright maybe has scored. Did Connor Bedard assist on it perhaps? Imagine them on a line together. Whew. But we're talking about Madison Bumgarner's no-hitter. Guys, if you can hit me up in my ear when Craig Smith is connected. I'm sure he is at this point. But let me know. He's in. Okay, so Craig, we're going to come to you in a sec. We won't go too long on this. We'll maybe talk about this again with Chris Unschreiner in segment 3.
Absolutely.
As we talk about some baseball topics with our buddy Chris Unschreiner from RBI baseball training and softball training. But Madison Bumgarner, he does a 7-inning no-hitter. And everyone's debating now, does it count? And I'm going to say, no, I don't think it does. Sorry, guys. He only pitched 7 innings. If you were to pitch 7 innings in a regular game, it wouldn't even be a complete game. And I know there's circumstances around that, but that's the asterisk. It comes with the circumstance of playing a 7-inning game. I know it's a doubleheader, whatever. But no, to me, it doesn't count. A no-hitter is 9 innings of no-hit baseball. A perfect game is 9 innings of perfect baseball. What else is there? A complete game shutout is 9 innings.
Without surrendering a run.
Maybe you can give a complete game shutout to a 7-inning game. But even still, it's not a no-hitter. Sorry, guys. A no-hitter is 27 outs. You have to get 27 outs with no hits.
Not 21.
That's the deal. Not 21. Exactly, Max. So, Max, I don't know. You can clearly tell which side I'm on in this. Yeah. What are you?
You know what? This one's a bit of a tough evaluation because this is a newer rule, if I'm not mistaken anyways, going back to last year's 60-game COVID-shortened season, where now doubleheaders are 7 innings each. When it comes to that, 14 innings is enough baseball to watch in one day for myself personally, although I do love the Blue Jays and enjoy indulging in a 9-inning game. Clearly, I can't take my eyes off the screen. I was worried Tanner Roark was coming into the game. Either way, back to Mad Bum. Fantastic pitcher, fantastic person, has achieved a lot in his major league career. When it comes to this situation, though, and I heard a very, very interesting thought on this. So this is a bit of an oversight that Major League Baseball had when they put this rule into place, is how important are the accolades, right? How important is the potential of a no-hitter coming into effect for somebody's career, a contract negotiation, whatever it is. Either way, it was an incredible pitching performance, and call it whatever you want to call it. Now, when it comes to let's float this idea out there, Clark, and I got to give credit to the guys at Barstool for this. If you've got a no-hitter going through 7, do you play until the 9 innings are complete or a hit is surrendered? Do you play those 9 innings?
So you keep the game going?
You keep the game going until the 9-inning mark?
No.
Well, again, and just throwing it out there, if the accolades are that important, if it's causing this much of a debate, do you do that? Do you go until a hit is surrendered?
Just because the debate is such as what it is.
Well, look at it. Look at everybody's talking about it, right? Is it a no-hitter? What is it? Is it a complete game shutout? Everybody's got some thoughts. So I'm just saying, that's a thought that's been thrown out there.
What if,
it's a creative idea.
What if
baseball could use a lot of creative ideas? So.
You're not wrong. Hear me out. Doubleheader.
Yep.
7 innings. starts the next two innings of the next game, gets 2 more shutout innings. Does that count?
That makes no sense. It's not on the same day.
So
just
no.
continue the
So
game.
no.
Just
So no,
continue.
then.
No, continue the game
Why
for
would you
9 innings
continue
like
a
it was
game?
meant to.
Yeah, but if somebody's having a good game, you're just like, hey guys, we're gonna keep going. You guys okay with?
Yep, Mad
you
Bum's
guys
got
okay?
a shutout. Get a hit.
Mad Bum's got a
Get-
shutout.
get a
We want to
hit.
try to get him a shutout. You guys okay with
Yeah,
that?
100%.
You're okay with? You
They're
think
getting
that's
paid.
a good idea?
They're getting paid their regular wage. Play the games.
That topic-
I'm not saying I'm an advocate
I
for it.
know.
I'm just saying it's an idea that was thrown out there. I thought it was pretty creative. I thought it was funny. You know what? Go until the 9 innings are done. If he gets his no-hitter, fantastic. If they get a hit in the next 2 innings, game's over. Done deal. And
So
hitters get to pad
this
their
is a
stats.
good one. Do they give shout-outs for Robin Wildy and Prince Albert, our good friend Robin, who, by the way, shouted out your beard earlier?
Oh, thank you, Robin.
shave.
Thank you, Uncle Robin.
Do they give shutouts to goalies who only play 40 minutes?
I don't know. Ask
No.
David Ayers.
It's a shutout when you get 60 minutes. Shut up with David Ayers. That topic was brought to you by Vigor.ca. Vigor Life-
You are heated.
Vigor Lifestyles is your #1 place for natural health and healing supplements, including Elk Velvet, which is on our desk. Elk Velvet Antler. It's great. Vigor.ca, of course. And they're doing some great new things with VLC.
Yes.
VLC cannabis
Fantastic
as well.
new
So
things.
shout out to everybody over there doing great stuff. We're going to take a break. Our good friend Craig Smith is coming up right after. We are diving into the NFL draft and a whole lot more with Craig. We talk a little bit with Winnipeg Jets with you too, Craig. We'll get to you after the break. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
All right, we are back in the bunker. We're back, and we're bringing in our special guest here in just a couple of seconds. Our special guest tonight, as we get into the NFL draft preview, is our good friend. He's already been on it. This is the second time that he's been on the SquadCast with us, and we couldn't have a more perfect guest for NFL draft breakdown and previews. He's a 2-time Grey Cup champion, CFL NFL scout. He's worked for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Hamilton Tiger Cats, BC Lions, and won 2 Grey Cups, and a Vanier Cup with the UBC Thunderbirds in U Sports. I think it wasn't called U Sports at the time. It was called, what was it called at the time? Craig's going to tell me. Craig Smith. Craig Smith.
That's quite the resume. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you for joining
Some
us tonight,
accolades
Craig. He's
there.
donning the Vikings hat tonight.
All
so
right.
you know he means business when he's got the Vikings hat on. Craig, thank you for joining us. How's it going tonight?
Going good. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
It was CIAU back
Right.
in the day.
Yes, thank you.
Come on, Clark.
CIU, of course. Canadian. What was it? Canadian?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It was an association.
It was a university something.
Good stuff.
Anyways, Craig, it's NFL draft week, and you know the global draft and the CFL just happened a couple of weeks ago. I know that the CFL draft is coming up in a couple weeks, so this time must be like Christmas for you. Can you explain what it's like for a scout in and around draft time, no matter what league it is?
Well, yeah, it's a little different in the Canadian Football League compared to the NFL with so many more players and so many more scouts and you know, so many people putting their opinions in and stuff like that. But it's fantastic. It's a great time of year. You know, this is like I posted something earlier. This is it's like I'm like a kid in a candy store, and it's funny because you know, scouted the NFL camps for 15 years. But you know, when I was down there, what we were looking for was players that would fall through the cracks. I'd go to a practice and it would be great. I'd see ones against ones, so I'd see Peyton and you know some of the players and stuff like that, and it was great. But you know, we were concentrating more on the guys that would fall through. The last couple of years, you know, since leukemia and since I've been out of the Canadian Football League, I've been more concentrating. You know, I don't have the video that I can go and take a look at like a lot of the experts have. But, you know, obviously I watched a ton of games last year, NCAA, and watched a lot of NFL and, you know, kind of know what's going on with regards to that. But this is the most I've ever concentrated this year on the NFL draft.
Well, that's fantastic, Craig, especially for us anyways when we go into the deep dive side of things here. Now, obviously...
Yeah, I probably don't know anything with regards to that. But,
fair enough. I guess we'll test that knowledge.
But
obviously, this is a pretty loaded class when it comes to quarterbacks. It's the most hyped conversation around at least the top 10, top 15. Heck, even going into the second round, there's some really good names available. But I want your thoughts based on what you've done in terms of studying, accumulating your knowledge base. I want to know one of two things. Actually, I'd like to know both things. A, who do you have as having the most immediate impact with their new team heading into next season? Trevor Lawrence is probably the obvious answer there, but again, you being the scout with the deep dive knowledge, I'm interested in your thoughts. But also B, who has the highest ceiling that could separate themselves from the rest of this year's class over the course of their careers?
Interesting.
yeah, those are great. That's a great question. Trevor Lawrence, no doubt. You know, when I first seen him way back, the year he won the national championship, I would have taken him then. I would have taken him high then. I thought, man, this kid's good, but you got to wait. You know, he's got to play a couple more years. And you know, he hasn't gone downhill. I just love what he does. You know, he's a big kid. He's 6'5" and a half. I mean, he runs good. There's so many good things. He throws the ball well. It explodes out of his hand. You know, he can use his feet. I don't know if you remember the touchdown he had against Ohio State. It was an unbelievable run and good decision making, all these different things. But I think, man, he's going to go in. You know, just like Peyton. I mean, Peyton went in his first year, it was pretty tough. So, I mean, it's not going to be roses. You know, Jacksonville they're picking first for a reason. So, it's going to be tough, but you know, he's going to a sure pro that's going to have a pretty darn good career. Now, you never know. You go back to when Peyton got drafted, and there was a guy right in behind him that got drafted second, Ryan Leaf. Kathy and I, we lived in Vancouver at that time, and we got to see a lot of University of Washington and Washington State. I actually went to a clinic there when Leaf was a quarterback there, actually brought up a receiver to BC Lions, Sean McWashington, who was one of his receivers. Now, if you would have told me that he was going to be a bust, I would have said, you're nuts. But things like that happen, so you just never know. Now, the next guy, I'm kind of excited. When I got leukemia, New York Jets, Greg Nejma, he sent me a box of stuff of gear, and I wore it proudly because I thought that was amazing. What those guys do. Who knew? At that time when I got it, I didn't know if I was going to live or die, but I'm still wearing it and still wearing it proud. So I'm happy for the Jets. I actually thought, maybe it would have been okay to keep Darnold and then protect him and take Penei Sewell, for the protection, but they didn't do it. Bang, it's gone. Now the Zach Wilson kid. If you take a look at his tape now, I don't care who he played against. A couple of years ago, NDSU quarterback by the name of Carson Wentz played 1AA or football championship series ball, and came up and he was going to be the most valuable player until he got hurt. So BYU played some good competition. He's a very, very good quarterback, and I think what he does, I think that it's going to be a good thing for him to get to the Jets, and they're going to hopefully, they got another pick in the second round, so that it's a building process now.
Sure.
Now the big thing is him. He's lean, but he's an excellent athlete. He throws the ball well. Accuracy is his big deal, and I think that's in researching a lot of the people that I read were talking about arm angles. And who made that famous? One of the MVPs, Mahomes, and they say that Wilson can do stuff like that with regards to arm angles, and he makes great decisions. So I think he could be a guy that's going to, but you take a look at those other guys. Like, I love all those other guys as well. Fields is he impressed me when he came back. He was the guy who petitions to try to get back into NCAA. He petitioned, and so they got back. His first game, I think, was week 8. Big Ten wasn't going to play, and all of a sudden he came back. With all that time off, he came in and against Nebraska. Not the best, but a solid football team. He was 21 of 22 for 267 yards, and I'm thinking, man, that's pretty good. Now he's had some, he's definitely has done some great things with regards to. With Ohio State, got a great arm. I don't know if you watched NFL Network and saw his pro day, man. Talk about launching some of those balls downfield. And the other thing is his toughness, and that's one thing about Lawrence too. He's got some toughness, but this kid took one hell of a shot to his hip. When he was on the ground, I thought, well, that's it. He's done. And he went back to the sideline, came back, played that, and played very well. And then against Alabama, he did the same thing. So he's got some toughness. He brings a lot to the table, with regards to quarterbacking. So
that's good.
And then Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is another guy that definitely has so much skill. Played on a good team, but he made the throws. He made accurate throws. He's another slider guy. They're talking about him with regards to the possibility of because of his slightness, it could be a problem. But again. Poise in the pocket, incredible accuracy. I think they were saying that he's probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks coming out. So, what a great crew.
Well, anytime you throw for 4,500 yards and 45 touchdowns in the NCAA, you're usually doing something, right? Now, Alan, producer Alan, if we can bring up Craig's top 10 list. Now, this is not a mock draft necessarily. It's Craig's top 10 players, and this is going to bring up my next question. But we see upwards of 5 quarterbacks in your top 10, Craig, and a few wide receivers, and maybe one guy who could be kind of a hybrid receiver tight end that we've seen more and more of in the modern era of football. But we're looking at Kyle Pitts at number 2 for you. Jamar Chase is right up there, who didn't play at all in 2020. So I want your thoughts on that. Jalen Waddle, who was hurt this year, who was replaced kind of by our good buddy. Now, who was it? Was it Devonte Smith? Is that who you were talking about earlier,
Yep.
Max?
Yep.
So he's not in your top 10, but he was right there, right after your top 10. So we're seeing like 3-4 receivers in the top 10 or 12 5 quarterbacks. Like, this is interesting. Now, in terms of the receivers, though, let's get into it, and we can bring Craig back in here. Give me your thoughts first off on, I'm going to say the two, Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle, and how they're kind of the smaller burner types. And then maybe just talk about Kyle Pitts, who's this massive guy who's coming out of nowhere almost, and he's blowing up charts right now. So what do you think about those 3 guys in particular?
Well, it's funny when you put something like this together. You could get up the next morning and say, "Well, wait a minute, I want to make a change here."
Yeah.
Because this the 20 that I sent you with height, weight, speed, and all that kind of and stats. All those guys are just incredible players, and who knows what's going to happen with regards to the draft. But as far as Kyle Pitts is concerned, like I hummed and hawed about maybe Chase should be ahead of him or Pitts, but Pitts just brings so much. I mean, he ran I think it was a 4.46 40. The 6'5". Kid. He's a wide receiver, a tight end who is a wide receiver, and matchups are just crazy. You think back, and it's tough to bring up a guy's name because he's no longer on this earth, but Aaron Hernandez, when Hernandez and Gronkowski played together, it was crazy because Hernandez had that ability as a receiver. Now, Pitts is by far, more athletic than that. So when you get Pitts coming, and he's a tight end that has so much athleticism, so much of an upside. I mean, it's a game changer, and it'll be interesting to see Atlanta's going to be a very, very interesting deal because are they going to go quarterback, or if Pitts falls down there, will they take him? Can you imagine Pitts with Ridley and Jones? And like you at the top of the show, you're talking about, the quarterback, Matt. I still think he's got game. I think he's still got a couple of years, and I think that there's a good chance that he'll be able to, do some darn good things. But and the other thing is I don't have Devonte Smith in the top. Devonte and Jalen, they could flip because Devonte, obviously the Heisman Trophy winner. The only thing about him is, there were reports he was 165 pounds. Oof. At a 6 foot. I mean, that's rail thin, man.
Yeah.
And you're not playing NCAA football now. You're playing in NFL. But you know what? Guess what? When I was with Saskatchewan Rough Riders, who did we have? We had a guy that was as small as you can get. And he had the biggest heart, and he was one of the toughest guys, and that was Weston Dressler.
Weston, my guy, yeah, from North Dakota.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the heart, and the big thing about Devonte is Devonte has an amazing work ethic. He has extreme athleticism, so he could certainly be up there. He's a heck of a player. It'll be interesting to see who takes him and how he's going to fit in and how they're going to use him, But Waddle also brings punt returning and kick returning skill as well. And I think if Waddle didn't get hurt, he may have been the Heisman Trophy winner this past year. He's got big time speed, 4.35 speed, man. I'll blow the top, man. If and everybody wants somebody like that. You think about Ruggs in Oakland, Las Vegas, and what he could do to the offense. It's going to be interesting. I can hardly wait.
We'll all be watching on Thursday.
We're all pretty excited.
Yeah, with bated breath. Well, I guess in the first round for your Falcons, Rams, we don't really like to keep our first round picks. We just like to trade them away for other things.
Add on top of that too.
But you know what? You got to be happy with Matthew Stafford.
I am not mad. Not complaining about it whatsoever.
Matthew Stafford for the Rams. Yeah. Now here's the interesting part for the Falcons. We mentioned them is if they
There's
trade.
an interesting part about the Falcons.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
If they trade Julio Jones, then what happens? If they, if then that's a shakeup for the whole team. So that could be
for the whole league.
The whole league. Yeah.
That's a big one.
And listening to the NFL Network, they were kind of talking about that. What about if they traded Julio? And if they do that, it's like, okay, it's a rebuild.
Craig, let me pick your brain on this one. Jordan loves when I say pick your brain. I hate it too, but let me pick your brain on this one. If the Falcons were to trade Julio Jones, and maybe they pick up a couple draft picks or whatever it happens to be, they need some help all over the field. But if they were to trade Julio and then they pick Kyle Pitts fourth, is Kyle Pitts a guy who could take over a Julio Jones role, or is he more of like a Jimmy Graham type of guy? What are we looking at?
Well, to me, he's more athletic. Like Jimmy Graham was the basketball player, came in at tight end. This guy is way more athletic as far as I can see. And I think that he adds another dimension. I don't think Julio is a different specimen. Julio, he won't replace Julio, but he certainly is something that is a lot different. And they can put him in the slot. They even can put him at wide. I mean, when you're running 4.46 and you're that big, he's definitely has a huge value for a team. And I think it would be kind of neat if Julio could stay there, and then they could. I'm not a big Atlanta fan, but it'd be. I like Matty, and Thomas Dimitrov was there, and know him. And they would treat me very well when I went to the Falcons training camp, and so I respect that. I respect so many organizations because of the way they treated the Canadian Football League people.
That's fantastic to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah, Atlanta. I'd let's not talk about that Super Bowl, but that was a killer.
Come on, Craig.
No.
Clark hasn't heard enough.
We're good. We're good. Well, Max, you had a question. Let's move on to the next question.
I did have a question. And just moving on, Craig, to maybe even just outside the top of the draft class here. So we're looking at it from a perspective of kind of your mid-first round picks anyways. And also, too, I guess, just relevance in the NFL as a whole when you're comparing the other four major sports leagues. How important for NFL teams is it to go after your team need in an entry draft as opposed to a lot of other sports where we see best player available? What's the emphasis on team need, especially at the top of the draft for most NFL, if not all NFL teams?
Well, I think, at the top of the NFL draft, you can certainly go after a need and fill it more than, I don't know about other sports, but I know the Canadian Football League, because in the Canadian Football League, when you're drafting, a lot of those kids, it's going to take a while before they develop and they're going to be starters. The offensive line is probably the one where it can happen. I remember Demetrius Sumpas, who was a guy that was drafted. He went right in, and I can't remember if Heenan went and was, started right away. But
I think he started right away.
Yeah, I was thinking too. So
he was a big brute of a kid. That he was an ox.
He was an ox. One of the best kids in the world. I just love that kid. But anyway, in the NFL, all these guys, like you take a look at anybody's mock draft or anybody's rankings, all those guys can come in and they can make an impact. So it's pretty good. And even further down in the draft, because there's so much talent, in the draft, and you think about how sometimes even those guys that get their undrafted free agents, they come in, and it might not be immediately, but down the road, some of those guys could start, and they could be a big part of your team. But in the NFL, because the talent, you can certainly draft for need, and it can work out for you.
Absolutely. And you know what? You must have been in my mind earlier as I wrote this question out. But as we talked about earlier, Ryan Leaf didn't exactly have the career everybody projected him to. But in all your years of scouting, Craig, is there another guy or a couple of guys that you thought were for sure locks to go on to have illustrious careers in the CFL or NFL, just across pro scouting, that just didn't end up panning out? A couple that stick out in your mind.
Boy, that's a good question. I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Think about it. We can always come back to it later in the show.
We can circle
it
around.
Might pop into your head with some of our other questions that we asked too.
True. Obviously, Leaf was the big one because he was pretty good, and I would never have thought that would happen. But hey, things happen, right? I mean, the big thing is character, and at that time, and I follow him on Twitter now, and he's stated a bunch of stuff with regards to maturing and things like that, and he kind of if he knew then what he knows now, things would be different, and he would because as far as the tools, holy cow, he had amazing tools, and that's, things like that happen.
Oh yeah, happened. The one I think of is now, Craig. I don't know how much you looked at this guy specifically, Jamarcus Russell. The one I think of when I think of guys who had everything, and they just—that's
a good one.
They just,
That's a good one.
I remember seeing a video highlight of Jamarcus, and you might have seen this too, Craig, where I think he was on his knees on the goal line and he threw it to the other end of the field or something stupid. Like, it's just like that guy had it all.
Yeah, he did. And he played at LSU. And again, same thing. I mean, if you watched LSU when he was playing, it was like, wow,
Jeez.
This is something. This is crazy. And it just didn't happen. Just didn't work for him. And all the tools, everything. This big, strong kid that could stand in the pocket and just, I'd love to have been around him just to hear that ball go in the air, because you know what it's like when guys throw the football. It's almost like it whistles, but
yeah,
I would love to see. That's a real good one right there.
There's something to be said, Craig, and I know you've been on the field, of a quarterback, a professional quarterback throwing a football, and it's unlike anything. Like if you were to catch a football from your buddy or in high school,
I got
or whatever,
a pretty good arm, Clark. If you're insinuating that,
we'll talk later. Okay. But there's no comparison. It's such a different beast catching a professional football quarterback, and maybe it doesn't look like it, but man, is it crazy. But speaking of quarterbacks, Craig,
let me just talk on that. When we would go to do free agent camps, I would play catch with the quarterback. And that would tell me about the velocity and what he had. And, I can catch. I had decent hands, so I could throw. So I'd throw it back to him and I'd catch and I'd go, yeah, this guy can throw. I used to, back in 2000, I used to warm up Nussmeier. Nussmeier was our quarterback back in BC, and we used to go through a pregame routine. And, and he'd throw. And at that time, he used to bruise my hands, so I could gear what a quarterback would do with regard. Okay, you know what? This kid, I like the way he throws. The other thing is I had Darian on the Nicholas in BC, the Nicholas in Hamilton, and then, not my idea, he got traded to Saskatchewan, and I didn't see Darian up close until 2010 when and I saw him. They were working out in preseason, and honest to God, that's the thing about being somewhere to see a quarterback. I think it's critical for you to see that. I saw, just the revolutions that he had, the tight spiral, the release. He had such a quick release and all, but it was neat to see live and in person. And I thought, geez, Craig, you did a pretty good job getting him on the net. But I was very impressed with Darian and the way he threw the football.
So let's stick with quarterbacks really quick. Now, again, we talked about it a second ago with the Falcons and Matt Ryan, and it came up a lot.
Is this an Atlanta Falcons show here?
It's turned into that, Craig. I didn't screen these questions beforehand. I apologize.
I'm going to change the topic.
I'll get into some other teams for you. Don't worry.
I'm going to change it. I'm bringing it.
Says the Leafs fan.
I'm making a point.
I'm going to change the topic.
I'm making a point. Okay. So the Packers, last year, they go out and pick Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers is still there. He's near the end of his career, but he's not there yet. He's still the starter. Okay. See? Now Matt Ryan's with the Falcons. And he's in a similar spot in his career to Aaron Rodgers. They're close. When, for you as a scout or as a guy picking the next batch of players, when's the right time to bring in a quarterback who's going to be the next one if you already have a guy who's established? That's what I'm getting at. And Max is over here like, come on, Max.
Okay, well, you're comparing Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just won an MVP. I don't know if Matt Ryan's winning any more MVPs, Clark. Sorry,
I think they've been the same amount of Super Bowls.
Sorry, just saying. Well, winning amount of Super Bowls.
Just saying been to. Okay, anyways, Greg, take it away. When is the right time to pick the next one?
Well, I think you got to be prepared, because the game, it's a contact sport and guys get hurt. So I think, it's important to have a backup that is strong. And it happened to Rodgers. I mean, Brett Favre was there and he was the guy. And so they brought him in. And I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to get old. It's going to happen. Now, Brett went on and he almost took the Vikings to the Super Bowl. And, he still had some game. But they went and they did what they thought was best for the organization and got Aaron, and it worked out pretty darn good. So I think even I wouldn't mind as far as in the Atlanta situation for them to get somebody to groom them, and then then it's time. Just like what Green Bay did. I thought they did a good job. Now taking Love's got some skills, but I'm not sure if flip it, I don't think he's Aaron Rodgers coming in to take Brett Favre's, job. But we'll see what happens, because he definitely does have some skills. But there's a time, and it's probably before you would think, just to cover your butts, because if you don't win, you're done. And and there's not a ton of top-notch quarterbacks. That's why it's important for. I was looking at the deal. Think of some of the teams that need a quarterback. You look at New England and Washington. Well, Washington's got Fitzpatrick. He's not going to be there for forever. Chicago, Andy, he's going to go there, but he's kind of at the end of the line. In Pittsburgh, Ben, so there's some, and then of course Denver. So I mean, what about them teams? Now, do you want to trade up, try to get one of these guys that you think that could possibly, help your organization? That's a possibility, but we'll see. That's another thing with regards to this draft. What's going to happen? Is anybody going to come up? New England is a very interesting one because, they need a quarterback, and Fields would fit in there pretty good. So will they trade up and try, and build that organization? Usually it's the other way around: trade down and get more picks. But quarterback is a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win, and so it's a critical deal.
100%, Craig. Couldn't agree with you more. And obviously the Rams went out and addressed that need. They figured they didn't have the right guy and paid a hefty price to hopefully grab the right one. And I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight if I didn't get my Rams question in. Hopefully that doesn't annoy our viewers. We don't talk about them that often, Clark.
Well, I said two things about the Falcons and you're all over me.
Well,
so go ahead.
Two things a week, Clark.
Go ahead and say go your Rams question.
Anyways, my Rams question. So I'm looking down, and I know you've done a lot of homework on this, so I want to test you at that pick number 57 range, roughly. Ooh. Who are some names that you could look at past the first round that could possibly fit in and do what guys like Cam Akers and Van Jefferson did for the Rams last year? What are we looking at in that mid-50s range if the Rams are looking for a center, if they're looking for a linebacker? I know those are a couple of their team needs, so just wondering what your thoughts are in that range of the draft at the bottom of the second round.
Well, I'll give you two names. Alabama's center, and he might be gone by that time. But Landon Dickerson, he's a heck of a unbelievable center with the Bama. He's a winner, very, very, very strong. All these different things. He's a center that there could be a possibility. Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma. That's another guy that played winning football in Oklahoma and snapped the ball to a few good quarterbacks. An interesting one is Jabril Cox. Now. He played at North Dakota State, and then when things, when he couldn't play, he transferred over to LSU and fit right in. So there's a linebacker that it's a good possibility that, that could be a pretty decent pick for those guys. Iowa State kid, well, of course, I'm cheating, right?
Not at all. You got the notes. Yeah. You did the prep.
Hey, yeah, that's
a scouting report, Craig. It's what we're asking for. Good stuff.
I prepped a fair bit. I put in a lot of hours in this.
Fantastic.
But anyway, the other one is a guy like Pete Warner, an Ohio State kid. I'm not sure what the Rams would be looking for. I don't know what type of guy that they would want.
A guy that's going to help them win a Super Bowl. That's what we're after.
The thing I like about Jabril Cox is his athleticism. Yeah. I mean, he's quite the athlete, and linebackers who come in, and I think he's fitting there pretty good.
Just a couple of fan comments here from our viewers. Janelle Barkman saying, hi, Craig, and then she sent us some Facebook stars. So Janelle is actually on a 9-week streak right now.
Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you, Janelle Barkman, and she says hi to Craig. Susan Molnar says, hi, Craig, you look fantastic. Let's see who else. Now, John O'Flynn says, does the SquadCast know? Craig won his Grey Cups with the BC Lions. So we won one with BC in 2000, yes? And one with the Riders in 13?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
I was an assistant coach with BC, and with Pau Pau. I was working with Pau Pau and County Kauai, and then I was in player personnel in 2013. Lost two. We lost to Toronto in 2004. And then we lost, obviously, and I was here my first year in 2010. We were 3 points short, and that was a tough one.
Yeah.
But Janelle, it's incredible. She's just got an amazing family. I look at her posts, and just a fantastic family. She's a great lady. one day Kathy and I will meet her and hopefully the family and and the thing I love she has pets too, and it's just fantastic. And there's nobody more positive than Susan. Susan is just an incredible lady, and she's gone through cancer, like I had, like my wife has, and so we have something in common. But just an amazingly positive lady, and two wonderful women.
Yeah, we got some great people watching, and thank you, everybody. With the amount of Facebook stars Janelle sent us, she could host the show one week, honestly. Janelle, if you want to host the show, you got
Fantastic. Good stuff.
So, Craig, just a couple more here. We only got a couple minutes because our good buddy Chris Untriner from RBI is here in the bunker. So, a couple more for you. The CFL appears to be somewhat on track to come back with a 14-game season. I know you're very passionate about the league. We all are here. That's where I met you, is back in 2012 with the Rough Riders when we worked together. So what are your feelings on the CFL's return, and from what you're hearing or from what you've heard or read, what are you thinking about, will we see some games this year?
Well, I don't know too much. I've been avoiding the talk, and, because who knows? I mean, there's something saying here and out of left field and over here, and so I'm not in tune. People that I've talked to, they're all positive with regards to getting the CFL game going. Obviously, it's not like any other sport because of you got to bring 50 players in, you got to quarantine them for 7 days. So, and I believe in a hotel, so you got to feed them. You got to, that costs money, so I don't know. I mean, it's going to be difficult, but boy, I'll tell you, I sure hope it can be done. I miss working in the league. I miss watching the league. I miss talking the league, like on your show and Rod and all that. And I love talking about, what was the next game and stuff like that. But, I'm praying that things can get rolling again. And, we'll see what happens. But, I've kept in touch, in the last, probably 8 weeks, I've been tuning into clinic talks. I even presented on player personnel at the back east. There's an organization that's based out of Peterborough, and they've got some ex Canadian college coaches that present. Even Bob Wiley, Bob Wiley was here as the offensive line coach in the NFL over. Chris Sweet, guys like that. So I've been just, sharpening up, what I'd look for as far as, all different things. They'll talk about scheme, they'll talk about the inside zone and stuff like that. So I've been trying to keep on top, and I'll continue to do that, keep working hard and try to keep on, like I said, keep on top of it. On top. I love this game. It's passion.
Well, we'll keep talking to you anytime, Craig. Now, we're gonna let you go here, but you mentioned Rod's name earlier, in just a couple seconds ago. He mentioned today that Jets fans seem to be throwing in the towel. Winnipeg Jets, I'm talking. Now, Craig, as we let you go here, how are you feeling about the Jets right now?
I don't feel very good. I don't know how many times this year I've turned the game off. I don't feel confident in this team, and this is such a weird team. Oh, because there's games where you go, hey, this ain't bad, and then there's like what the heck, and Bucky has been very inconsistent. I've watched a lot of games, and they got some pretty darn good forwards. That fourth line was going pretty good. The defense was okay. What they did at the trade deadline, I was disappointed. I've actually been disappointed in the last few years with regards to what they've done in the trade deadline. And I hate saying it because I don't like criticizing, but I can't see this team, going very far. But you know what? You should see all the Jet paraphernalia I have in my closet, and I'll be hoping for them. I'll be rooting for them, but I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, I was saying a couple weeks ago, if they would have done something at the deadline, I could have seen them being the best team in Canada. But I just, again, you mentioned it. You nailed it. I don't think they did enough, and now they're dealing with some injuries, and some guys are playing hurt, and Wheeler and Eelers is out for the rest of the season.
Ben's got a great
regular
year. He's
season.
Not
Jordy
so
Ben
great on the acquisition depth, though.
But Chris Untriner's here. We got to get him in. So, Craig, thank you. This is a great breakdown, and we'll post your graphic of your top 10 soon, so you can go ahead and share that if you want. I sent that to you, so you can go ahead. And we'll talk to you again very soon, Craig. Thank you for checking in tonight.
Enjoy the draft, Craig. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a great night, guys.
You too. And of course, our video guests are always brought to you by our good friends at IKS Media, iksmedia.com. For more information, they will help you get the best events, live broadcasts, entertainment, video screens, so much more, and WHL Hub Cities. I have to keep saying that because tonight's the last night of the WHL Hub City. Tomorrow's the last night.
We know a couple of people that are going to have a bittersweet ending to that. I know that Ryan Baracco is vigorously tired, but he mentioned him. He said he's going to miss it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hockey after not having hockey for a whole year. So
it's true.
There's a bittersweetness to it. But anyways, they're doing a great job over there. Shout out to everybody there. But anyways, always the best seat in the house with IKS Media. We're going to come back with the Bluebird block featuring special guest, Chris Untitled. He loves when I say that. Chris Untriner's coming in from RBI Baseball and Softball Training. We'll see you after the break.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
We are back in the bunker, and look over to my right. Max is gone, and we have a better-looking gentleman sitting in his seat. Chris Untriner from RBI. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. You guys got me into jeans and some uncomfortable shoes.
Yes.
Hopefully they're featured.
You're looking good.
Yeah.
See,
good to be on.
I was telling you during the break, I took the sandals out about a month ago, and even though it was snowing still, I couldn't put them away. Once the sandals come out, they don't go away.
Yeah, that's right.
In my head, anyways.
That's right.
It's kind of short season too. Like once you get the shorts out, similar idea.
Well, it was 15 degrees and then it snowed. So
yeah. Well, wasn't it 19 today or something?
Yeah.
Baseball weather.
I know, that's right.
So we're gonna get into everything going on at RBI and minor baseball in Saskatchewan in general later.
Sure.
But for now, let's talk a little baseball. We got the Bluebird block presented by our friends at RBI. It's coming up here. So first off, let's talk a little Blue Jays for a couple topics here. One thing that I'm always talking about on this show specifically, and we've talked about it with Barry Davis, Greg Zahn even mentioned it a little bit, offense from the catcher position. Now, obviously, historically, the catchers are usually defensive, and you get every once in a while, you get a Mike Piazza coming along, or you get somebody like that who just
Alejandro
hits. Kirk, maybe he's the next one. Maybe he's the next Mike Piazza.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's a couple of guys. There's usually maybe Pudge Rodriguez. You think of the guys like that. Yeah. There's a few guys, maybe 3 or 4 across the entire league that put up good averages, home run numbers, et cetera, et cetera. How important is it for you, maybe in a managerial position? You've managed some teams, some youth baseball. Is it more important for a catcher to run the game defensively or to get a little offensive pop out of your catcher position?
I think offense is always just a bonus.
Right.
The kids, well, I say kids, but I mean, even in the bigs, you have to be able to handle a pitching staff. You have to be able to call pitches. I coach with the 13U guys, and I always encourage them to call their own games. At the young age, coaches are always doing it for them. So just kind of getting that understanding of the game and being able to handle the staff itself. As they get a little bit older, you usually start to see, the more athletic players, we'll call them, shift into the middle infield, and then that's when they become the hitters. And then obviously at the next level, offense always just kind of becomes the bonus.
Yeah.
In the bigs, we were just talking about it not too long ago, there aren't too many high hitting. I was just looking through the averages a couple days ago, actually, like so many like sub 200 averages for catchers.
Yeah.
Hitting in the 8 or 9 hole, depending on what league they're in. And I think the Jays are experiencing that a little bit right now with Jansen. He's a 049 or something like that.
Yeah, Max, what was it? Like
049. There we go.
049.
Yeah.
You heard that right, folks.
0.049.
Yeah, yikes.
You know what it comes down to is pitching is gonna end up winning it as far as championships. I mean, the best teams that win, they always have the arms, they always have the staff, and you have to have a guy that can handle it, that can handle the grind of it. One guy that I always enjoyed watching from our time in Monterey was Buster Posey. I think we were just saying he's probably playing a little bit more first base than catcher now, but he's
still listed.
He's listed as a catcher. He's got like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 bombs now, just quietly leading the Giants to second place in the NL West.
Joe Mauer, a little bit of Joe
That's
Mauer
right,
flair.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always going to be the defense first, and then you get a bonus if a guy can swing it a little bit.
Yeah. So growing up, like Joe Mauer was your guy, right? Because you were a Twins fan, right?
Yeah.
See, I've known Chris for a while, so
That's
I
right.
kind of know. I'm a little creepy with how much I know about Chris, but you were a Twins fan growing up, so like Joe Mauer is kind of the guy that you would want like as a prototypical catcher. What was he, 6'5"?
He was
like he had a
huge.
rocket of an arm.
Actually
He hit 300 every year.
He grew like 3 inches or more between the time he got drafted and started working his way up. So then they started slowly converting him to a first baseman again because he got just kind of too big.
Yeah, knees were getting
but he was
a
like
little rough.
6'5".
Yeah.
But he never ended up hitting for power like they thought he was going to. He thought he's coming up, he's going to be a 20, 30, 35 home run guy. And then I think he had like a 28 home run
Yeah, maybe.
season.
But he always hit like 300.
That was when he was MVP. And he hit a career 300 hitter.
Yeah. Hall of Famer?
I don't know about that.
There's a debate for another day.
Yeah.
Who are your top 3 catchers right now? Because, again, just so everybody knows, Chris was a catcher. That's why I'm grilling him about catchers.
Yep.
Chris, you played what? NCAA Division I baseball. You played Australia. Again, I'm creepy about Chris. Australia and Germany.
Germany, yep.
And then you came back and you're a third baseman now. But,
third baseman / pitcher, apparently.
Yeah, fireballer.
That's right.
So you know a thing or two about some catchers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. So who are your top 3 catchers now, today?
That I like to watch?
Sure.
I have always loved watching Yadier Molina.
Yes, of course. Legend.
Funny story about him. We'll get to that in a little bit. I just love watching the defensive part of it. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's goes back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Some of the best pitch framers, we'll call it. And it seems like more and more everybody's starting to get to it. Catchers are starting to buy into the fact that there is more to it than just setting up and, if it's a strike, it's a strike, go steal some balls. But Real Muto is getting paid the big bucks. He's fun to watch when he's.
Well, we were debating him or Springer this summer.
Yes.
That was kind of the debate.
Exactly.
Who do the
That
Jays
was a
bring
few
in?
months ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, maybe they
maybe they made the wrong choice.
because then they can anchor that position down.
Yeah.
And then, oh, man, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Tell me your story about Yadier.
Yadier. Okay, so Yadier, my college roommate in New York at LIU, Justin Topa. He's a reliever for the Brewers. Currently on the DL, he strained his arm. He made the opening day lineup, and then he strained his arm. But he'll be back midway through. Anyways, Yadier's 2000th career hit last year in an empty stadium at Busch Stadium. Topa gave it up.
That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah, 2
That's
and 2 count, 98-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle, and Yadi just lined it to center field.
Well, Topa will tell his grandkids that he barely.
Well, we
whiffed on
razz him.
barely,
We still got a little group chat, our roommates.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's
so
an awesome story.
about it.
Let's talk a little bit more into the Jays here, and as a baseball trainer, you work a lot with defensive, infielders, third base, shortstop, second base. Now the Jays are a little bit flexible with their infield, and they're moving guys around a little bit. Mm-hmm. And me and Max were talking about the other day, Bo Bichette's getting a little flack at shortstop right now for some of his defensive woes, we'll say. Cavan's getting a little bit, he's having a rough start to the season, so to speak.
All over.
But all over. But Max was mentioning, and we kind of looked, they both pretty much have about 100 games of career experience. Like Bo's, I think, just passing 100 now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Cavan's maybe played a couple more games. He's at 97. Bo's at 97.
Yeah.
What about Cavan? He's over 100 games, I think. He started earlier, I think.
Yeah.
But, they're still really, really early.
Yeah, they are.
How much leash do you give these young players who have come up way faster than I think a lot of people usually do in the major leagues? How much leash do you give them to just kind of work through it?
I think a lot of it is... So they had the shortened season last year.
Yeah.
And there was no fans.
Yeah, right.
And
no pressure.
And not that there's a ton of fans in the stands now, but there are extra eyes on them. And there is the talk about the 3 core players in Biggio, Guerrero, and Bichette. And I don't know. I've read some things and I've had my own opinions. I never really thought Biggio was right there with Guerrero and Bichette. He was always kind of the third one.
The awkward third wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw tonight he started in right field. I was laughing because I was like, oh, no errors. Well,
we'll see.
He was in
that.
right field.
Yeah.
And then Panic was at third. They do have the flexibility. Once Hernandez and Springer come back in the outfield, maybe not as much flexibility.
Yeah. And then Vladdy can play third.
And then Vladdy can play third.
Rowdy's going to be first base.
I think he's
going to
get quite a long leash at first. Especially if he's going to keep hitting this way, they'll settle.
Tonight? Now, Chad Isaac was saying 7 RBIs.
Yes,
3 home
Perez. That's
runs.
the other one I was going to mention.
Oh, Salvador.
Yes, I see it on the bottom there.
Who just wrecked the Jays the other night with the
That's
walk-off.
another guy. He never played last year. He was injured, and he comes back, and he's another fun player to watch.
Big boy.
I like to watch him too.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's switch to a little bit of NL talk here, and we were talking about it a little bit, you and I. But Fernando Tatis goes on a 5 bombs in 3 games streak, and he just can't seem to catch a break in terms of how the media treats this kid.
Yeah.
He's a special player, but he comes off. He's playing the Dodgers right now. The Padres and the Dodgers rivalry is heating up, and they're playing Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer's pitching, hits a bomb off Trevor Bauer, goes around first base, does the little cover your eyes thing like Trevor Bauer did, and everyone's up in arms like, oh, classless. I can't believe he would do that. And Trevor Bauer comes out. He's like, I love it. I can't swear, but it's great.
Yeah.
I don't think he swore either, but I felt like it. But he loved it. Trevor Bauer loved it. He was on the end of the razzing, if you want to call it that. So baseball, make baseball fun again is what Bryce Harper said a couple years ago.
He was kind of one of the first.
He was kind of one of the pioneers.
That finally said like, okay, guys, enough is enough. Like now, this is a growing game.
Yeah, and I've heard rumors of customized baseball bats might be the next thing where guys get to like paint their baseball bats or like put stickers on them or whatever. So in terms of that baseball fun, where are you? Because again, you've played, you've managed, you've coached. In terms of the flair, the flashiness of baseball, should there be more of what we saw with Tatis and Bauer?
Personally, when I play, that was never me. I was just kind of always the guy that caught, that just caught and played third and just took care of business. But for a game that everybody's complaining is boring and they're trying to find ways and rules before, like, to come up with all these rules to try to speed it up, and the Atlantic League's trying to extend it a foot, the mound a foot after the halfway point of the year. Like, they're coming up with rules to try to change the game. How about instead of rules changing and changing the game itself, just let it kind of, let personality, like Bauer's getting fined for wearing the wrong cleat. And like, I mean, when you talk about the two guys, Tatis and Bauer, like those are the two. Tatis maybe not as vocal. Bauer's very vocal when it comes to it. But those are the two guys on both ends that are like, let them play kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I love it. Baseball, even personally, I can't sit and watch 9 full innings. I can sit and watch like 3 innings at the start, 3 in the back end, and so on. But just to
Jay's in 30.
Yeah,
it's
there you
perfect.
go. Just find a way to, not fix the game, but just adjust with the times and social media and this and that, right?
Yeah.
Before you change the game itself. Like, that's not going to change the game. The game is still going to be the game. It's just kind of let the players play. I mean, they're making the money and we're paying to watch them, so let them do it.
You can't have guys being scared to get punched by Rougned Odor if they do a bat toss. That's what I'm getting
Without
at.
a beard.
Without a beard. Yeah, how about that too? That's weird. Thank you, Yankees, for showing us that
That's
image.
right.
It'll haunt us
There's
forever.
one good thing that came out of that. We got to see that.
The Dodgers and the Padres, we mentioned them. They're kind of heating up. They've been playing against each other a lot in the last couple of weeks here. The Padres loaded up. We know about that.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have been good for years. I was going to say days, for years. But do you think they're the baseball's best rivalry right now? The Padres and the Dodgers?
Well, they're definitely, the MLB is making it a point to make sure everybody knows about it. I think they're playing each other like 20 times this year or something.
Yeah.
They've already played like 3 or 4 times. I mean, those are going to be the 2 teams that are going to be at the top of the NL West. Right now, I just looked, the Giants are just quietly second place in the NL West. I'm not sure how long that'll last. But in terms of flair and, the spectacle of the game with the pitching staffs that they have and the offense that they have and the fact that it's in California.
Yeah.
Of course. Right now, I think it probably is. But Boston is in first place and the Yankees are in the basement.
Boston and New York need to figure it out.
They're just, they're not.
Boston sucked last year.
Yeah.
Now they're good. Yankees were great last year. Now they suck. Like, figure it out, guys.
It's always going to be like
pick
that.
one.
There's never not going to be a good series in terms of the Red Sox versus the Yankees. Like, there's always going to be the history. And I don't think that the Dodgers and the Padres will ever have the history to back it up. I mean, they haven't been around and they won't be around for that long. But, I like the Dodgers and the Padres. I caught myself watching the game.
Greg's on. Max, you remember this. Greg's on when we had him on. I don't know how long ago it was. A couple months ago now. We asked him, because he's a San Diego kid. He was born in the San Diego area.
Yep.
And he's like, well, I couldn't be a Padres fan when I was growing up because they sucked. So I was a Dodgers fan. He's a big Dodgers fan. So he was pumped when the Dodgers won the World Series and all that stuff. And I was like, well, now that the Padres are loading up, like, are you going to switch? He's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
It was like, well, he's like, yeah. So the Padres, Dodgers, that was never a thing because there was always somebody else.
It was the Dodgers and the Giants,
right?
And like that was a nasty rivalry. That was like dudes
like
getting
stabbings
beat up.
in the
dudes getting beat
lot.
up for wearing the wrong color.
Yeah, that was when we were down there.
Yeah, that's true.
I never went to one of those games.
Orange when they should be wearing blue.
Yeah, I went to Oakland. How is Oakland safer than San Francisco or LA?
I know.
Shout out to the Oakland A's.
The A's, they won 13 in a row? Did they lose?
Moneyball.
I think they won 13 in a row last I checked. I can't remember.
Probably.
That's the thing. Nobody knows.
They always do.
Everybody's like, they're just quietly
always
going and
good.
winning, and nobody knows about it.
Yeah. Billy Bean.
Yeah, that's
Max
right.
is off like whispering Billy Bean.
Yeah.
You can't be romantic about baseball. How can you not be romantic? Max says that like every day. I know. So, Chris, let's go into your line of business, RBI. You just said, I think something just ended and something's about to start, or what's going on with RBI right now?
Yeah, so we are, hopefully baseball season's about to start.
I was going to ask that next.
So usually at the end of April, which we're at now, is kind of the end of our block training. So we've been going since middle of October. Holy man. Yeah, we've been going for like 6-7 months indoors, and you can definitely tell the kids have been cooped up. They're ready to get outside. So a lot of the teams and a lot of the leagues are kind of getting their evaluations wrapped up, team evaluations following all restrictions that are put in place and this and that. But we just finished all of our block training. We've got a couple, like we got one group tonight and one group tomorrow, just kind of wrapping it up. Softball wraps up on Thursday, and then it's some clinics here or there, some small mini camps just to kind of keep rolling. But usually May, June, July is relatively quiet. We'll get out on the field with some of the teams, assuming that's approved. But by the sounds of it, fingers crossed, June will be kind of the start of all the leagues.
So they are talking.
Yeah, they are talking.
Doing it again this year.
They've got the return to practice protocols in place. So now a lot of the baseball and softball teams have been kind of in their little 8-player mini groups, we'll call them.
Yeah.
And so they're doing their practices. They're kind of getting all their kids lined up, figuring out who's playing where, if there's going to be any cuts or anything like that. And then, it's just kind of a matter of figuring out, when they can start. It seems like they should be able to. They're outside.
Yeah.
They're outside, so it should be a little bit easier to get them going. But I think I just actually saw, unfortunately, at the CCBC, so that's a Canadian Collegiate Baseball Conference.
Yeah, sure.
They just canceled
like
their
Okanagan
season.
and those guys?
Yeah, they just canceled their season, which is too bad. But when you have to jump province to province to play, it makes it really tough.
And who knows where the players are coming from, and there's so many things. But I feel like when it's local,
we should be able to. Yeah, even if it means that we kind of have our little the hub city, we'll call it, of like Regina, Moose Jaw kind of area they play, and then Saskatoon stays north and does. We just got to get these kids outside. Like, they got a 2-month season last year for baseball and for softball, and we just can't have another month and a half, 2-month season. These kids have just been cooped up. Now,
one thing that me and Max talked about on our show again a few weeks ago is now I'm just getting reminded of it because you mentioned hub cities and stuff. But the Regina Red Sox,
yes,
the ballpark.
Yes.
Now, you played for the Red Sox for 4 seasons, 3 seasons, 4.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think there's a select people that do love it. But there's always the pushback when it comes to building new arenas and stadiums and whatever. Anything in the city especially.
Yep.
I've ranted about this, so that's why I get a little animated when I start talking about pushback.
Yep.
But how huge would it be for the Red Sox to get that type of park that they've been talking about? $21 or $2 million overall with everything included, including an indoor field house, including retail store, restaurant space, brew house. I'm just listing it because I love it, but I don't know. They were talking about what was the capacity?
It was like 3,500.
Yeah, 4,000 somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was
huge.
Quite an Okotoks.
Right.
Like Okotoks pushes like 6 or 7 now.
And the best part, I love this, and I sent it to Max, and he didn't get it because he read it wrong. But Sylvan Lake, Alberta.
Yep.
Just got a new facility.
They got it was like
and this population
is what I'm getting at.
I knew it was Brotz behind this, Gary Brotz. So shout out Gary, because he said population 15,000, and then he tagged Sandra Masters and Regina City Council and all the people. I love that. Was a great message.
Yeah.
But they got one done, so they're saying, why can't we get one done? So what are your thoughts overall? That would change baseball in Saskatchewan to me.
I love it. I'm jealous of Saskatoon and the facility that they've got up there, the big Gordie Howe complex. Now, they don't have a WCBL team. I always want to say Wimble, but
they renovated the whole
thing,
field up
so
there,
Cairns, Lycos, then they've got a couple turf diamonds right in behind, and then they've got this massive 100,000 square foot complex it's just bonkers up there. This would be a step in the right direction for sure. The Red Sox, the organization's been around forever, and like that field that they're playing at, Curry Field, is men's league quality.
I like it.
I personally
I don't mind
love
it when we play there.
I love it. It's awesome.
You've played there. You've lived there for a while.
Yeah, 4 years.
The facilities, it's a trailer made into a dressing room. Is it not? Like, that's kind of the whole thing with one batting cage.
Yeah, the batting cage. It's parts in the middle, and there's 2 cages.
Okay, there's 2.
Yeah, on either side, and
we don't need a new field. They have 2 batting cages.
Yeah, you have to throw the sandbags to make sure that the wind doesn't blow the net in while you're taking a swing. And it served its purpose for when it was. But even how long ago did I play? We won
Would've been
2011,
10 to
2012.
14, right? Somewhere
Yeah,
in there.
10, 11, 12, 13. We won in 11 and 12. So we're 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And at that time, when we're making a playoff push in 11 and 12, it's standing room only. And we're like, we could have another 1,000 people in here for sure.
Yeah.
And like, they just couldn't, because like there was 2 people deep lining both foul lines, and then the wooden seats that nobody wants to sit in. And then you get a cool evening, and you've got the aluminum the aluminum tin seats, and it's cold on everybody's legs. Like, nobody wants to deal with that.
No.
So it'll be amazing. And you know what? It'll be the kind of the centerpiece of downtown. I know that's obviously the big thing, is trying to upgrade and make downtown a little bit more desirable.
Yeah.
And
nobody wants that, though.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
That's
so
terrible.
you get something like that with the, all turf or whatever they go with, and the lights will be up, and it'll just be a place like people actually want to go down there, and then everything in the warehouse district and in downtown will just grow because of it. At least during the summer months. Who knows what's going to happen in the winter?
Right.
But
well, that's the argument every time is, they're going to use it for 3 months of the year, and then what are they going to do with it?
It'll be used, and I saw there were some ideas of doing, farmers markets and movies in the park, like just, fun things that we've never really had.
Weird. Fun things are good.
Yeah.
But also, like, the indoor field house would be massive if they can get that added onto it.
Yeah.
And
And
like
that'll
you
be
said,
used.
Now, one thing that my wife specifically, but I've heard a lot of other people say, is like, well, they don't have a grocery store in that area, so why would they build a baseball diamond? Like, this is the catalyst to building grocery stores and more
You have to
housing.
start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere.
You just have a
This is
grocery
the
store
exciting
that's-
thing that makes people want to build stuff there, and then you build stuff there.
Yeah.
That's where, anyways.
You gotta start somewhere. That's right. We could
can
go on.
Yeah, Chris and Clark's politics rant is coming up next hour. But anyways, Chris, thanks for coming in. Where can everybody follow RBI, and how can they get a hold of you?
Instagram and Facebook are 2 big platforms. We got a new website launching very, 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 very soon.
Oh, nice.
I say very soon. I just have to.
As soon as you hit the button.
As soon as I hit the button, exactly. Facebook, Instagram, super active on there. Our social media guy, shout out Brandon, does a phenomenal job. We're just wrapping up our program, so now it's kind of just lessons and kind of getting ready for the season, and hopefully seeing the kids baseball and softball on the field. And
RBI baseball and softball training facility on
Regina
Facebook.
baseball
Regina
and softball.
Right.
Indoor
RBI Regina
Training Center,
baseball. Yeah.
Inc.
We found it. All right, Chris, thanks for coming in, and
Thanks for having
we'll
me.
chat again in a few weeks.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you after the break. We do have some hockey topics we want to get into. I got some TikTok questions I want to get into. Max is hopping back in, so we'll see you in a few minutes.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier Production Services Company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
All right, we're back. We're here.
Nailed it.
You don't have your laptop, so I'm going to have to run this show. I'm used to it.
Well, yeah. It's kind of the job that we determined for you.
I am host. You are co-host, I guess.
That's right. And picture taker guy.
We got a couple of questions coming in live on TikTok, and I'm going to address them because I've been...
Hey, it's Ken Reed on Sportsnet.
Hey, I've been ignoring TikTok, and it's kind of hard, when you're on TikTok, but you're running a show.
It's incredibly hard for Clark to ignore TikTok.
And you're on with a guest, and people are asking you questions about the NHL, and you're talking about the NFL draft. It's kind of difficult. But there's been a few questions, and we got Toronto Guy 54 checking in right now. And he says, hey, do you think the Leafs can fix their power play? Well, you'd hope so. That's my answer to that.
So that's a great question.
You'd hope so. Now, if I had the answers to it, I think I'd be a millionaire. Because
you'd be on the bench?
I'd be on the bench coaching.
On the bench if you had those answers.
Or I'd be in the management staff somehow doing something. But
pretty sure a big key to that is not having your superstar centerman run into your newly acquired trade deadline.
Oh, do we have that picture? Alan, are you asleep back there? We got the picture of Nick Foligno bumping into...
And when we say run in, I mean like Austin Matthews and Nick Foligno almost went to second base.
There it is. Now, both big boys. There's the picture. It's the best quality I could get, so don't at me.
That's about the same one that I had, too.
I'll flip you guys around on TikTok here. So there's Austin Matthews bumping into Nick Foligno. Now, again, both big boys. And they were going pretty fast.
They were clipping.
They didn't see each other, and Matthews just crushes Foligno.
They weren't just gliding, that's for sure.
Now, luckily, Foligno got right up and smiled it off, and I think they were laughing about it seconds later. So luckily, we avoided a concussion
Until the injury report comes out tomorrow. It says he's got a broken rib and he's out 4 to 6.
An upper body injury.
Philip Forsberg's been dealing with that for about a month and a half now. I'd really like him to get off the IR.
Yeah. Now, Max, another question that came in a minute ago here on TikTok was, who are your favorites from each division to make to the Final Four? So we got the North, the West, the Central, and the East. We kind of did this on our Saturday show, didn't we? On our Saturday hockey show?
Yeah.
But I said Colorado, Toronto, which I hate doing because I hate the jinx of it all, but I'm going to say it. I think I'm going to go with... The East is so hard. I'm going to go with Washington probably out of the East. And then out of the Central, the Nashville Predators? No, I'm going to go with...
I ain't going to be mad about that.
For the
Positive
fun of
vibes
it,
only, people.
For the fun of it, I'm going to say Carolina. But I think it could be Tampa.
Okay,
obviously.
pick the top team in the division. That's
that's what I'm saying. So you
Take
go
it
ahead,
on
Max.
our show.
Who's your picks?
I thought long and hard about this, Clark, and I must say, in the 10 seconds since he introduced the question, I'm going to go with the Sens.
That's why I went for this.
I'm going to go with the... Who's last in the Central? The Jackets.
Okay.
And the other
Ducks.
two last. And the Ducks. And then who's the last place in the East? Sabres.
The Sabres.
Sabres, obviously. No. You know what?
How much money are you putting on that?
At least $5.
$5?
Per team.
Okay.
Now, no, in all seriousness, man, Vegas just looks like an unstoppable train right now. I always go back to, at least for playoffs' sake anyways, goaltending, strength of goaltending. And when you look at Vegas, Robin Lehner, Marc-Andre Fleury, that's got to be the strongest tandem in the league. I know that Robin Lehner's dealt with some mental health stuff this year. I don't want to call it stuff, that's putting it very lightly, but at the same time, it's things that can contribute to you not playing your best hockey. So with that being said, if he's able to get in the mind frame and the mindset of I'm ready to go win a Stanley Cup with the fellas, that's a team that just 1 through 4 in terms of their lines, top 6 D-men. They are just loaded and ready for bear. I also love the Colorado Avalanche. I know that's 2 teams out of the West Division, but man, those are the 2 hottest teams in the league outside of the Nashville Predators. No, they legitimately are. I know you're questioning that, but
no, I'm serious. I wasn't questioning. We looked at it on our Saturday.
But anyways, I'll
show.
get out of the West. Carolina does look incredibly strong. I look at them top to bottom again. Same thing. I know they had a lead over Dallas tonight, and they're a very well coached team too. You look at Rod Brindamore. He's won a Stanley Cup as a player. He knows what it takes to get the job done in crunch time. I love the Canes, and you know what? Quite honestly, I'm not a guy that really likes seeing repeat champions. So if Carolina and Tampa Bay meet in the first or second, well, it's going to be the second round if they meet, but it'll just be an incredible series. 2 well-coached teams, 2 high-powered octane offenses going at it back and forth. Carolina sneakily built a very, very good offensive team around Sebastian Aho. Oh my goodness, Andrei Svechnikov, Teravainen, and Vinny Trocheck. Oh my goodness, he has had a resurgent year. Dougie Hamilton on D, Jakob Slavin.
They have like 42 blue liners that are NHL quality.
Many guys. They've got some great goaltending too. Well, they're again, talk about great goaltending and your former boy James Reimer. But yeah, and then out of the East, I'll just go quick picks here. I do really like the Washington Capitals. I think they got to try and win it. One more at least in Ovi and Backstrom's window here. Really like the Caps. And
Anthony Mantha pickup is pretty solid so far.
It's looking good. And you know what? Jakob Vrana has looked good for Detroit too. So I mean, that's a trade that at least on the surface, in the very short sample size we've seen, has looked good for both squads. When it comes to which division am I forgetting now here?
North?
So I've got the North. Oh yes, the North. Oh. Man,
you hate to say it, but I know what you want to say.
I hate to say it, but again, we go back to goaltending. What are you guys doing in net? I just don't. That's where I can't peg you guys. You guys are so hot one game, and then the next you just have no idea where you're going, and it just.
What's David Ayers up to?
I don't know.
Can the Leafs sign David Ayers?
You could probably ask him. He's working for the Marlies, I think.
It's true. He was. I don't know if he still is, but he was.
Either way, you know what? Hey, that was a fantastic story too. Like I said, man, McDavid, the guy just. Every time you think he's hit his maximum gear, he has another one.
I think it's safe to say, though, Max, and you might agree with me here, whichever goalie gets the hottest in the North, that team will probably win
in every division.
Well, in every division, sure.
But in the North, for sure.
I think in the North specifically, whichever team gets goaltending has probably the best chance of winning the division.
Now, you talked about it earlier, I believe it was a couple days ago. You said Mike Smith left practice with an injury, or was that confirmed as a long-term thing? Or?
I didn't see anything.
Because I don't think the Oilers can ride Mikko Koskinen all the way. I really don't.
No, I wouldn't want to.
Now, a sneaky team that I'd say as a contender, just while we're on the subject finishing it, we talked about it a lot on our Saturday show, the Minnesota Wild.
The Wild.
You look at the goaltending they're getting from Cam Talbot, and is it Capo Kakinen?
Yeah, Capo
Kakinen, another
Capo?
I don't know. Third stringer in the next Olympics for Finland, possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
When you look at just the team and the makeup, right? As Rich Sutter alluded to, they're just a bunch of guys. They are, but now they got a superstar offensive rookie that, again, his ceiling is barely being scratched. They're going to be another interesting team that I don't think is going to be an easy out. So, as I said, I love Vegas. I love Colorado. Minnesota looks like they're going to be matched up against whoever gets that 1 versus 2 seed. I think Vegas and Colorado are still fighting it out for the number 1. But hey, let's see where we're at. It's going to be interesting.
Jordan Blodgett's calling me out for taking selfies. Nope. Not doing that, Jordan. Thanks, though. I'm on TikTok Live with Max, and we're on the SquadCast.
You pointing that camera is not distracting whatsoever either.
No.
I love talking to the camera.
You have
that's what we do.
3 cameras pointing at you the entire show, and this one is the one that distracts you?
Hey, it's the most intimidating one. You
TikTok,
know, is what it is.
It's an
the
intimidating
one directly
platform.
centered right on me.
You're right.
How do I look? Does it take 10 pounds off?
It's a good angle. Yeah, it's a good angle.
Fantastic. Good stuff. All
now,
right.
Janelle Barkman's saying, I'm not going to, how did I just notice the beard? This is a wonderful day. So Janelle's pumped that you shaved. So good for you, Max.
Absolutely.
Everyone's, I saw a minute ago that we're gonna cross the over-under in a sec. We'll get out of here in just a sec, you guys.
Yes.
We're almost done. The one thing we wanted to mention was, well, the 2 things were the Jets. We kind of talked about them earlier, so let's skip the Jets. People are worried in Winnipeg. There's your headline.
They need to land for a bit of a refueling.
Yeah, a little bit of refueling.
I had that on locks
That's a good
in
one.
segment 1.
That's a good one. The second one in Canada specifically is the Flames. And we're still trying to figure out what the Flames are doing. They have been winning a bunch.
I have figured it out. If you want to know, you said we were trying to figure it out. I have figured it out.
Figured out what?
They have the nicest jerseys out of the reverse retros. Maybe not the nicest, but up there. And they're going to miss the playoffs because they can't beat the Senators.
That's true. Well, so the Flames, that's the weirdest thing about the Flames is everybody counted them out a week or two ago. Yeah. Then they start winning a few games, and then everyone's like, oh, they could still do it. And then the Habs beat them the other night, which kind of is close. You have on the notes here, can we stick a fork in the Flames? Like, it's close, but it's not there yet. Now, here's the thing. Somebody tweeted out some numbers, and I hate not giving credit to whoever it was, but it was somebody from the Sportsnet world, I'm pretty sure. I want to say it was David Amber, but I could be wrong. Now, it's not impossible that the Flames still make the playoffs. It's not even impossible that the Canucks still make the playoffs. But the Habs basically have it in their destiny. They have fate in their own hands. The Habs have 9 games left, I think. And if they go 4-5 during that stretch, they finish with 59 points. If that happens, they could go 5-4 and finish with more than that. But I'm just saying, if they finish 4-5, they'll have 59 points. The Flames only need to go, well, they only need to go 7-2, I think, in the last 9 games in their stretch. And they have an easier schedule, timing-wise, scheduling-wise, and opponent-wise. It's not out of the question yet, but its percentages are pretty low. Now, the Habs have 9 games left. If they win 5 or 6 of those, it's pretty much out of the question. But if they go with a losing record in their last 9, could happen. The Canucks are the wild card in all of this because they have 14 games left. And if they win 10 or 12 of those somehow, who knows? Like, they could change the entire equation. So, anyways, it's an interesting time in the Canadian North Division. We were going to talk awards, but I think we'll save that for next show.
Let's save that for next show. We went into it pretty good on Saturday.
Yeah, check out our Saturday hockey shows on the SquadCast Facebook page because we specifically go like 45 minutes to an hour on hockey. Everything we just talked about in this segment and way more. Facebook.com/thesquadcast.
We like hockey.
Yeah, you can find us there. It's our whole Saturday, entire thing hockey. So do that. We'll join you. We'll join us on the Saturday show.
We'll join you while you join us.
Yeah, we'll join you.
We'll do a whole lot of joining virtually.
Yeah. We talked about the NHL TV deal too earlier. It's massive news. TNT is coming in, basically sharing the spotlight with ESPN. So that's exciting for all hockey fans because it just means A, there's a lot of money coming in for hockey, and B, we could start seeing the salary cap going up after we thought it was going to be 2, 3, 4 years of flat salary, which is interesting.
You know what my favorite thing is when people are talking and they go A and they put up one finger and then B.
I can't do
it. Honestly is one of my favorite things.
A, and then I don't know, how do you do a B?
I don't know. B? I just had to point that out because I did it earlier tonight with Craig Smith too. It's just one of those things that just human brains can't
until human fingers can make the shapes of letters.
Until we can do what is this, the Zoltar sign thing from Star Trek?
Live long and prosper.
I don't know, something like
Zoltar
that.
That's a whole different movie.
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
Can I do Live Long and Prosper?
I like Marvel. I'm not into the Star Trek, Star Wars side of things, so maybe that's another debate for another day. But yeah, just finishing up on just pretty much everything because I think we're probably the over-under. Our giveaway.
Yeah, we went over the over.
Our giveaway, guys. Make sure that you check us out on Facebook. It's the pinned post currently at the top of the page. Blue Jays, new blue. We're talking new blue,
powder
like the
blue,
nice
baby blue.
Powder blue, baby blue. Those beautiful jerseys, personalized, customized with your favorite player, likely Vladimir Guerrero Jr. after tonight's performance.
I'm getting a Vladdy Jr.
3 home runs, 7 RBI, can't go wrong. No. And the matching hat that they wear. So feel like one of the pros. Make sure you enter that giveaway. Tell your friends, tell your family. It's a fantastic giveaway with our partners over at Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions and the Ultimate Fan Zone Moose Jaw for the first ever SquadCast sweepstakes. And there will be many more to come.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
One a month. We're planning on one a month.
We're planning on it.
If we can make it work. So
it's kind of like the CFL. They're planning on one game a month.
So yeah, customized Blue Jays jersey, baby blue, powder blue, and a hat. If you go to facebook.com/thesquadcast, like our post, share our post, tag friends in said post, and go like Ultimate Fan Zone's Facebook page and Rockstar's face. Pretty easy.
Janelle just got a Vladdy jersey.
Oh, Janelle, I'm right behind you.
I'm pretty close too. My tax return's coming back, so I think it's time for a Vladdy jersey.
I am right behind you. But tomorrow on the Rod Peterson Show, let's wrap this up. Tomorrow on the Rod Peterson Show, we're diving more into the NFL draft. Andy McNamara is coming on.
Nice.
And Jim Lang, Canada's foremost NFL expert. So we got a ton of NFL talk. And, Andy and Jim can both talk a little Jays, a little hockey too. They're a little bit everything. Next week on the SquadCast, I don't have this guy nailed down, but we want to bring in somebody to talk hockey. So it's going to be a hockey-based show next week. We'll talk NFL a little bit, recap the draft a little bit, but next week's show, we're going to do a lot of hockey and baseball specifically, so stay tuned for that. And I got Matthias checking in, a Jaguars fan. He's like, I love your sweater. I need a Jaguars one. That's the only article of clothing from them. You don't have a hoodie? He has like 14 Jaguars jerseys.
I was going to say I've seen Matthias' stuff.
Yeah, you know Matthias.
I was just going
He
to
has
say
like 14 Jaguars jerseys. You don't have a hoodie? A sweater? Come on, Matthias. Anyways, from the basement of the bunker, the literal basement of the bunker, we are truly in the basement now.
Yes, sir.
We are signing off. I'm producer Clark. Mad Max is to my right. Director Jordan, producer Alan are in the back. I don't know if you can even hear them if they say noises. Make noises.
Nice.
I don't know if you could hear
The
that.
team's alive. That's good.
They're not sleeping yet, but plus our friends at Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions, B, IKS Media, Vigor Lifestyles, Hoop Life Basketball, and Chris Untriner from RBI Baseball. Thanks, Chris. Craig Smith, thank you for checking in tonight. The closing lyric, Max, I forgot to listen to the song you sent me. Do you want to say it?
No, this is yours.
Right. Is that the one?
Close. Yeah, it was in the Instagram story.
All right. Nobody. I don't know how the rest of it goes though. I just know
come on, man! I gave you one
Nobody
job
worry
last
about
night.
Nikki. Why you got to light me up in practice like that, Austin? Am I anywhere close? Can't you just leave
Have you never
me
seen
be?
Caddyshack?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Is that it? That's it, right?
Guys, get us out of here.
Yeah.
Fade to black.
See ya. See you next Tuesday.
Take care, everybody.
Ouch. I shouldn't say that.